1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock, one of our most viewed videos features Karen Hill. Because she shares a name with a movie actress or something. We don't know who she is, though. But I know this Karen Hill. And we came to know Karen Hill because she was with the Marion County Literacy Council, and the same heart that she brought to that agency is what she brings to the Marion County Homeless Council, and just making a huge difference in our community, both with the Literacy Council and now with the Homeless Council. And I'm guessing sometimes the two worlds must collide. Karen Hill is the executive director of the Marion County Homeless Council. What else does Robin tell me to say here? The Marion County Homeless Council's 2017 point-in-time survey count of the homeless in Marion County is January 26th, and it sounds like you're looking for volunteers to help you do that. Karen, good morning. How are you?
It's going to take a lot of volunteers for that one, over 100 actually.
Wow.
Is that right? And what are you counting? Homeless people or everybody?
Humans. Homeless humans.
How do you do that? Door to door?
Unhoused.
You knock on doors?
Well, if they're housed, what we consider homeless housed would be Salvation Army, Interfaith, Shepherd's Lighthouse, those kind of places. Right. Unhoused would be park benches, streets, encampments, cars.
Are there any unhoused homeless children?
Many.
Really?
Many homeless children. The matter of fact, that's one of the things I say, no matter who I talk to, is trying to change the face of the homeless in Marion County. It is not that man standing on the corner with the sign. It is usually families, single moms with children. Chronically homeless are anyone who's been on the streets for more than a year and has a disability. So there's a lot of misnomers as to who is the homeless and how do we change those lives.
Do you know, I used to see homeless in New York when I lived up there, and in the winter, I used to always say to them, can you get to Florida? At least it'll be warm.
Don't tell them that, please. We have more than we can handle.
Yeah, but for their sake, I mean, it's just be warmer. Or San Diego. Okay.
Right. And I was actually just in San Antonio last month, and I was appalled at the number of homeless there. Mm-hmm. You know, here we think, we see one or two men standing on the corner talking, and they're homeless, and we think, wow. In San Antonio, on all four corners, there was like 20 people.
Right.
I was just absolutely appalled at how many people were on the streets.
So I told you that we have something in common with you right now, because behind you are a lot of toys and gifts from listeners. And these toys on Friday will go to Kids Helping Kids, which is in Bellevue, and they're specifically for homeless children.
That, and I love what you were saying about they buy for
they pick them out
someone else, and I just love that.
Yeah, I know it's a really great idea, but I wondered, why, and I know you are here to help them. But in doing your work, you must have come to some conclusions about why some people are homeless in the first place, or chronically homeless. In other words, they don't ever pull themselves out. I used to think to myself, I would walk through the park. I may have shared this with you before. When I lived in Santa Monica, and to get to work, I had to walk through that famous park that's right there. And I worked at a pizza place, so I was allowed to burn, quote unquote, 2 pizzas a day.
Oh,
and
awesome.
In other words, if you want to take one home, go ahead, but don't take more than 2.
Okay.
And so we would take 2 pizzas a day and bring them to the park. And,
That's awesome.
And some of the homeless would be very, very smart, and you could talk to them. Others didn't have intellectual skills or whatever, and you could see there was some mental illness there.
There is usually a lot of mental illness when it comes to chronically homeless.
Why? I mean, what can we do to help them?
Well, the goal of the government this year, through 2017, is to end chronically homeless. And is it achievable? Maybe. Chronically homeless is very, very difficult. The definition is they've been on the streets for over a year steady, or they've been homeless 4 times in the past 3 years. And they have a disability. That makes them chronically homeless. The problem is so many of the people on the streets have not been diagnosed with their disability. I can tell you, we just helped a man, and it was such a blessing. It took us about 7 or 8 months of working with him to get him diagnosed with some mental issues, some bipolar, some other things, to get that Social Security check going. so that he then has a way to start supporting himself. And he was definitely chronically homeless. He is now housed. I helped a Marine, of all things, a veteran on top of it all, that's the goal this year, is to end veteran homelessness.
Right.
And he'd been out on the streets forever, and it took me about 6 months of earning his trust. And he already did have his disability, but he didn't know what to do with it. And so people were, I need $50, and he'd give it to him, as he's living in his Jeep that can barely run.
I was watching this video on YouTube, and this guy did an experiment. I don't remember what city it was in, and he pretended he was homeless.
Right.
And he pretended, and he was in a wheelchair, but he didn't need to be. He pretended he needed to be in a wheelchair, and he pretended to have a winning scratch-off lottery ticket that won $10,000.
Oh, wow.
And he would say, "Oh, I won $10,000," and he would ask people, "Could you just make sure that I'm right?" And they would look at it, and it was fake, but it would look like he won. And they would say, "No, this isn't the winner," and they would put it in their pocket.
Oh my gosh!
And of course, leave with a worthless ticket.
Right.
But the homeless people he went to, do you know every single one of them said, "Oh my gosh, yes, you won," and give it back to him?
Absolutely.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes, I'm out on the streets on a regular basis. We do feedings on Monday and Thursday nights. We being, as I'm a volunteer, there's other groups that actually handle those feedings. But I can tell you, they'll say, "No, I don't need that. I had a little bit earlier. Let's leave it for somebody else." Or, "No, I don't need a coat. I have a coat. I don't want to take something that somebody else might need." I think when you have little, you respect that people have less. And those of us who have a lot, we don't, we're so blessed we don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Well, when the volunteers go out to do the census, do they just count, or do they have to ask their name?
We will be interviewing,
do that?
actually. The point-in-time count is what it's called. It is mandated by anyone who receives funding through HUD. Every other year, we must count the sheltered and the unsheltered. And this year is that year. And so we need about 100 volunteers who will go out in their community in areas they feel safe, not into encampments. Those will be people who are in the homeless world, and even some officers will go with us to certain areas that aren't, safe. But we will actually go out with an interview, and we will ask people, the first question is, where did you sleep last night? Because that's how you identify if they're homeless or
But
not.
how do you know? Yeah, I mean, do you go? Gosh, where do you go?
Well, we'll go to the places that we know about. Salvation Army will be there when they eat lunch. We'll be there when they feed dinner at Interfaith, at the known places. And of course, those of us who work in the homeless world know where the homeless hang out, and we'll go to there's certain places that'll have coffee and donuts at 5:00 in the afternoon. We'll obviously be there. So security office. Some of the churches we're hoping will do some events that night to bring the homeless in. Different feedings, getting the word out through the radio, that we'll be out there talking to people. The homeless have their own form of communication, and once the word is out that we'll be out there, they'll know we're coming. And of course, the people who work in the different agencies, and of course the police and sheriff in our community know where the homeless live. And so some of those areas we will definitely be going into and talking to people.
What is your thought, Karen, on this? Let's say we have a business card from the Homeless Council. Okay. And there's a guy, a young man, looks like he's healthy and he could work, and he's got all of his limbs, and he's standing here at the exit of the mall.
Yeah.
And we're driving out, and this is an actual guy.
Okay.
And I always wonder, is he really homeless, or is he just like, I don't know.
Pretending.
Yeah, and
Easy
tapping into
money.
our empathies and our sympathies, So what is your thought on this? Instead of rolling down the window and giving him $1, giving him a card that says, "Look, there's the Homeless Council that can help you." Because then if
Absolutely.
he really is homeless, he'll probably go get help.
Or you could say something as simple as, if you really need help, call 211.
Well, oh,
Because-
really? What is that?
211 is a phone number available through the United Way, and they work with all the different agencies in Marion County, and especially those of us who work with homelessness. And they know every week, we send them an update. Who has money? Who doesn't have money? Are we helping with rent? Are we helping with utilities?
Right.
Who's feeding tonight? And so if somebody calls 211, the operator is going to be able to point them in the right direction. So it doesn't cost anything. Most of the homeless have their free phones.
Wow.
Because if you get food stamps, you get a free phone.
All right, I have so many questions
Wow.
about this.
Absolutely.
I love what you do. You are such a leader in our community. We will be right back with Karen Hill, and if you have any questions, you can call 622-9622. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accidents. Some fog patches early in this Monday morning. Otherwise, a warm day today with some sunshine and a high of 79 to 83. It'll be partly cloudy and mild for Monday night. Lows ranging from 57 in some interior locations to 64 along the coast. Tuesday and Wednesday will remain warm and rather humid with intervals of clouds and sun each day. The high Tuesday 79 to 83. Wednesday's high 77 to 81. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
The very best in quality is Captain T's Upholstery.
Hey, this is Dan. Let me ask you a few questions. Does your boat look better with the cover on? Has your car's interior seen its better days? Stop using a towel to cover up those rips in the golf cart. Isn't it about time you had it restored to better than new with a custom upholstery from Captain T? Captain T's Upholstery has been right here in Ocala for nearly 20 years, so they know how to make your ride one of a kind. Whether you want to take that classic ride back to a factory look or put your favorite sports team front and center, Captain T's Upholstery is who to call. 352-369-1810. That's 352-369-1810. Or stop by their location, 5030 South Pine Avenue in Ocala, just past the drive-in. And of course, don't forget to visit them on the web, CaptainTUpholstery.com.
The very best in quality is Captain T's Upholstery.
Experience Christmas at Gaylord Palms, presented by Fujifilm Instax, November 18th through January 1st. Enjoy spectacular holiday decor, dining, and entertainment, including ice, with an all-new theme featuring a Charlie Brown Christmas, Cirque Dreams Unwrapped stage show, breakfast with Charlie Brown and friends, Alpine Rush snow tubing, and much more. It's everything Christmas in one extraordinary place. Tickets and overnight packages, including priority extra cool hour admission to ice, are on sale now at Christmas@GaylordPalms.com.
Christmas time is here, and this holiday season, Gaylord Palms puts a brand new twist on a Christmas classic. It's Ice, presented by Pepsi, featuring a Charlie Brown Christmas by Charles Schultz, November 18th through January 1st. See the whole Peanuts gang carved in over 2 million pounds of colorful ice, including Snoopy's decorated doghouse, and dancing at the holiday play rehearsal. Your awe-inspiring experience concludes with the wonder of the nativity in ice. For tickets and packages, visit Christmas@GaylordPalms.com.
You've got a garden, and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
News happens fast. And when it happens here. The leader in talk radio.
All right, 18 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. A little bit overcast today. As we approach the Christmas season, we're in the Christmas season. As we approach Christmas, we're in the whole season, I guess, began July 4th or something. But you know, the whole idea of giving, and you always hear this every year. You always hear, don't just be giving during Thanksgiving, in Christmas, give all year long. So I was asking you about the people on the side of the road, and off the air you said that you don't give them money. And I think some of the people who are trying to tug on our heartstrings and they don't really need it, and then we realize that they don't need it, those are the ones who hurt the ones who really do need it. You know what I mean?
Well, I think panhandling, all of us are a little uncomfortable with panhandling. And even some of the homeless are uncomfortable that other homeless panhandle.
Yeah.
And so, as I was saying to you off the air, I can tell you one day I was driving out of the grocery store and I had bought a bag of almonds because I was kind of hungry. And I'd opened it, but I hadn't eaten any yet. And there was a man standing in the corner with a sign that said, "I'm hungry." And I opened the window and I said, "Are you really hungry or are you looking for money?" And he said, "I'm hungry." And I said, "I have a bag of almonds. I haven't eaten any yet. Would you love them? And would you like them?" And he said, "Anything. Thank you so much." So there truly are people out on the streets who don't know won't go to a congregate feeding or to Salvation Army or any of those things.
Right, no.
But then there's those people who like you said, are not really in need. They're just taking the easy way out, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess it's easy for them. I can't imagine the humility of standing on a corner saying, I need food, but some people do
I don't
that.
know. But I mean, okay, so let's just kind of remove that from the equation just so we
Right.
can talk about the true homeless
true
and
homeless.
the true need that you are trying to fill.
Right.
And so you need volunteers.
Right.
100 of them.
At least 100.
At least 100.
And what we're talking about today is something, again, that we do every other year, and it's called the point in time count. Do I like the name? No, but it comes from Uncle Sam, so it's what we have to use.
Right.
And again, we are mandated to the entire county, and you know what a landmass Marion County is.
Huge.
The Forest, Bellevue, Marion Oaks, Dunellen. We have to go to every
Micanopy.
quadrant.
So what kind of commitment are we talking about? Somebody wants to volunteer, means they're going to use their own time, their own car, their own money, right?
Right. We're
So-
asking for 2 hours.
Okay, 2 hours. Just 2
2
hours,
hours.
period.
Just 2 hours.
All right, so I go out for 2 hours. What do I do?
You are going to talk to people. And it could be, you may identify them as homeless, you may
I have a
not.
clipboard or something?
You'll have a clipboard with
Uh-huh.
you have actually 2 options.
Okay.
If someone's willing to talk to you, and I have to be honest and say we use a little bit of a bribe, we have backpacks and things filled with items that the homeless needs, like soap and deodorant and toothpaste and things like that, food, snacks. And we say, if you'll give us 5 minutes of your time, we'll be happy to give you this backpack full of goodies.
Oh,
And
nice.
There you go.
There you go. And the first thing we say is, first of all, have you talked to anybody else asking these questions today? Because we don't want to duplicate people. And most of the time you'll know because I already have the backpack. But you'll say, where did you sleep last night? And if they tell you I slept on the streets, I slept on a park bench, I slept in my car, those are the people we talk to. Anybody who is living in a place that is uninhabitable for humans. In a shed that the roof is leaking behind someone's home
Right.
is not meant for human habitation. So then we want to ask them things about, do you have children with you? Because there are many children on the streets.
Do you know, one time I lived near a railroad track.
Okay.
And I thought, I want to walk down the railroad track. I just want to see what it's like. You know,
I
you always
grew
see
up
it in
by
the
one.
movies. You always see it in the movies, right?
Yep.
So we both went. We went walking down the railroad track, and it wasn't that far. Maybe half mile was the
Yeah.
total thing, you know. But in the woods next to the railroad track, I saw a blue tent.
Absolutely.
And I said, there's not a campground down there. There's somebody living there.
Absolutely.
And you could see enough to know that this person, I didn't see a person, but there must be.
He must have been.
It was a campsite. I mean,
Right.
there was a place for a fire. There wasn't a fire going on, but you could see where it was all set up to like in a real campground. Obviously, a homeless person who has nothing more than a tent.
And there's hundreds of
Now
them. in
that's
Marion
got to be a
County.
real homeless person. But how would I find that? That was an accident. I stumbled upon this guy, or like could have been a woman. I don't even know.
Right. A lot of times the homeless will tell us where the other homeless are living. Once,
Oh, really?
When we're out on the streets, I've been the director almost 2 years now. Time flies.
Yeah.
And you know how committed I am to what I do.
Yeah.
And so I'm out on the streets and I'm meeting the homeless and I'm talking to people. And when you gain trust, they will talk to you. If they don't know you, they might not tell you anything, or they may walk away. But
So for
when
2 hours, I have in my car some backpacks filled
Yep.
with goodies.
backpacks, and you're also going to have things like blankets and jackets and things that homeless people may need.
Wow, so
and you're just going to go up to them and say, "Where did you sleep last night? Would you be willing to talk to me?" And you ask them simple questions. We want to know if they're a veteran. We want to know if they have children living with them.
Right.
We want to know, do you have Social Security or disability, any source of income whatsoever? Do you want housing? That's a big question.
How do they get the money? I mean, if they have Social Security coming to them or military benefits, like you said that veteran had, how do they get it?
Most of them use direct deposit or general delivery at the post office.
Oh, so they have bank accounts then.
Some do, not all do. But again, general delivery at the post office. If you ever stand in line at the post office and you see someone standing in line behind you that is some people are very identifiable, some are not. But they'll be asking for their mail as general delivery
Okay.
at the main post office.
So if you're listening and you'd like to volunteer, you're committing to 2 hours.
You're committing to
period.
2 hours
Not
in-
2 a day, just 2 period.
2 hours within a 24-hour period. We start counting on Thursday, January 26th, and we have to be complete by 5 o'clock the next afternoon. So we will have people, if you feel comfortable standing at Salvation Army or people in line, you could volunteer your 2 hours there. If you feel comfortable talking to people out on the streets, at the square, or in your neighborhood, you're comfortable, you know that there's homeless people every time you go to the grocery store in Dunellen, whatever the case may be.
Right.
You can volunteer in the area that you're comfortable
So
in.
what do you do with the information we get?
It all gets turned into the government, into housing and urban development.
Now, does that individual person who we met benefit from answering the questions? Like, does it pinpoint, hey, John Smith is living under a bridge in Dunellen. Do you go talk to him and try to give him a place to live?
And that's one of the questions. Do you want help? And absolutely, we will follow
So
up
if they
with
say
the people who
yes,
want
then you
help.
show up and help them.
Absolutely. We also have a book called The Guide to Services that we print. Every time we run out, we print more that lists food banks, clothing places, the different shelters, the different programs, food stamps, all of those things, and we will give those out as well. They'll be in the backpacks.
And do you have a training session for the people that are going to be
We
the
do
census
do a
takers?
training session because we want people to feel safe and comfortable. The other thing you need to know is nobody ever goes out alone. You always have a partner, preferably someone who has some experience with the count. And believe it or not, there's people out there all over the place who don't work with us right now, but have done the count in their previous areas.
Oh, my.
I have met a lot of people from up north who said, I counted one year. I used to count every year. And now they're here, and so we definitely want their experience if we can get that.
So is there a way for you to kind of give us a picture of Marion County versus other similar-sized counties in maybe, and as far as how well we're doing with the homeless? And is it a matter of we're not doing enough or we're doing enough, or is it just simply that the county, like Orange County, might attract a lot of people simply because it's popular?
Well, we attract a lot of people. The last time we did, 2 years ago when that count was done, we had over 900 identified homeless people in Marion County.
Wow.
And let me explain, because other people are going to say, no, there's over thousands. And there's a difference. When you talk to Suzanne McGuire from the school system, she's going to tell you there's 2,000 to 3,000 homeless children in Marion County.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you there's 900. There's a difference in the definition. If you're a child in the school system counts you homeless if you do not have your own address. If you are couch surfing, one night you're staying with your aunt, the next day you're living with your grandmother. Those are homeless children.
Okay.
For an adult, especially a single adult, you don't have a place fit for human habitation. So there's a difference in the definition. So let's clarify that, or you'll get beat up by phone calls for sure. So those are the difference in the numbers. But what time of year is it? What's the weather like? All of those things, of course, affect the numbers.
So we love having you here, and there's so much we could talk about, but I want to be sure that the listeners know the main focal point of this visit is to get volunteers to help out. If you want to volunteer, it's 2 hours. You have a backpack full of things that you can use as leverage, as you said.
Absolutely.
You'll be with somebody who's done it before, so you're not alone.
Correct. And in an area you feel comfortable in.
Wow. And gosh, in years past when you've done this, has the volunteers found people like in unexpected places?
Oh, absolutely. I did my first count last year, and we definitely came across encampments that people had said perhaps maybe there were people there, and they're in places you would fall over if you knew where people were living. And I can tell you, back when Hermine happened and we lost, unfortunately, a gentleman was killed during the storm who was living in a
homeless.
tent.
Yeah.
And there's other people in that encampment, and they're still there, but we know they're there, so obviously people will go count.
So I have at least one to tell you about. I'll tell you off the air where that tent was.
Good.
If anybody's listening and you know of anybody who you know is living in a homeless circumstance and that maybe Karen knows about, maybe not, let us know. We'll pass the word on to Karen.
The more we can identify, the more money we can bring in to help this problem.
All right. So what do? They can call us and we can get a hold of you. But if they want to call you directly, what do they do?
You can call us at the Homeless Council at 732-1396. Again, 732-1396. Or our committee chair is Diane, and you can reach Diane at 362-3198, 362 3198, or you can go on our website and register right on our website at mchcfl.org.
Okay. All right, I've written down the numbers, and we've got the website, and we'll put it up with this video. And if you're listening, if you share the video, it'll help with this cause, and you need this all by January, and it's a how long of a period?
24-hour
24
period.
hours.
And we could
Oh my
use
gosh.
coats, blankets, anything for cold as well.
Okay, all right. So we're going to help out with that as well. Rob and I are going to continue to mention the need for the coats, and we'll do the volunteer as well.
that.
Karen, you are outstanding. You're a role model for all of us. Thank you. Thank you for what you do. We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. President-elect Trump has made his choice for Secretary of State. Sources tell Fox News it will be ExxonMobil chief Rex Tillerson, and it's
There's skepticism among Democrats and Republicans who note